Ways to continue, this is literally Zelda talking to the archetypes of the fourth cosmos. He is describing himself as the end. He's describing what he himself as what must be. All reality will end. All the stories will end there. There's also the fact that he's literally described as the archetypal end. Of course, the Eternity Mask can be used to amp you up, but that's irrelevant. Suffice to say, these archetypes exist in the previous cosmoses and reiterate themselves continuously. And Immortal Hulk, Cosmic Immortal Hulk, was the reiteration of the Galactus archetype from the fourth cosmos, which the one below all influenced to happen. The fifth cosmos is described as pure magic. Cloud says that they'll see him, like the defenders again, when they reach the mystery. This is the Lifebringer 1 fighting against the dragon or the anti-all. Also called the Cosmic All Death. Even concepts like magic and science haven't been invented yet. And concepts and dualities like good and evil haven't existed yet, but rather is and is not, creation versus negation, existence versus nothingness. In other words, the Hierophant. I'm not sure what that means, actually. I won't even lie. The anti-all is described as the primal void. And Doctor Strange says this reality's too basic for even her instruments. Taya's instruments, I should say. Anti-all. Once again, the anti-all is sort of this nothingness or force that wishes to destroy everything. Pretty sure this is the one below all, and I can show you later. Doctor Strange describes it as the old dragon. Eternity himself is the fifth element, which makes all the universe. Which makes all of the universe equal / in balance, and is what powers magic itself. Once again, referred to as the Great Dragon. If anyone who's read the Bible knows that Satan himself is referred to as the dragon, the one below all is sort of like cosmic Satan. Even by the description of Spider-Man, no less cosmic Satan, but we'll get into that in a second. Doctor Strange, along with Taya and Harpy, create a link to Lifebringer 1, who gets powered up by magic and the sixth cosmos, and is then able to fight against the anti-dragon or anti-all. Doctor Strange literally says that for every multiverse to come, the dragon's been shattered into pieces that will fight to destroy the multiverse. Alright, the anti-all. back to the whole one below all thing. Um, Spider-Man describes Null as cosmic Satan. The one below all is what Bruce Banner, the guy who literally is connected to the below place and the one below all, and his dad, who's also somewhat possessed by it, he said that's what it sounded like to him. And he look at here. He says, and I quote, "So I can't discount the possibility that this Null of yours is some facet of the one below all, or some creature it controls, something it's working through." Okay, if you guys know what I'm getting at and know what I mean, what does God want? God wants creation to continue to exist and to flourish and to evolve, or for us to evolve. What does the devil want? For us to fall apart, conflict, stagnate, and for us to destroy ourselves in the universe. Now, what better agents for its goals than literally Oblivion, all Oblivion's avatars, so Null, Chaos King, Scryer, Oblivion, because they're the destructive aspect, or the part that will bring it existence into nothingness, and then literally all of the cosmic Satans, Hell Lords of Marvel, as it's been pretty clearly shown and established by in the Immortal Hulk stuff. If you've actually read it, they are aspects of him that are weaker, and then I think the cosmic nothingness aspect, like Oblivion, Null, that sort of thing, they're aspects too. And everything that works against the one above all's plan, which is creation to stay existing and to grow and flourish and unite, is the one below all. Breaker of the world, Hulk. I'd like to add that stuff like the all-black winter are also aspects, I believe, or facets of the one below all, or agents of it. It exists outside of eternity and all of all the iterations, and it describes Thor as the. I believe it describes itself as the. Well, the phrase is the. Let me see, actually. Okay, I know some of you are getting bored, so I'll just make the connection right now. Hulk right here is called the Breaker of Worlds, okay? Remember that. Tyre right here says the anti-all. From the underlands beneath infinity. Underlands below place. Breaker of Worlds. It's literally called the Breaker of Worlds. The same thing our boy Hulk got called. Guys, it's quite obvious to me that the one below all and the anti-all, this great dragon that the third cosmos was defended from by Lifebringer 1, that was the one below all. And the one below all was shattered into pieces. And Doctor Strange himself theorized that everyone is fighting some variation or iteration of this anti-all, this great dragon, in their own time. And the ninth cosmos would logically follow this thought process or logic or theory, and that is Hulk, Breaker of Worlds, cosmic immortal Hulk. So now that we've established that the one below all is pretty obviously a creation tier threat, and a little opposite of the one above all, let's see how far he is in these terms of power scaling wise. So as you guys have seen from the Defenders run, Surfer has some feats in there, and he fought against Griever of the Griever at the end of all things, who, for context, was able to one-shot Molecule Man, and then her creatures were able to eat him. Mind you, this is the same Molecule Man with the power of all the Beyonders. You might be asking, what about the Defenders Beyond? Well, in the Defenders Beyond, okay, let me put it this way. The Beyonders, all of them, collectively attacked the multiverse during the 7th iteration. Destroyed it, right? Dr. Doom used the Molecule Men to destroy their forms, meaning that their energy could then all be absorbed by Owen Reese. Once Owen Reese had the power, he kind of started going crazy. It was kind of the power battery for Dr. Doom, or God Emperor Doom. Then, he was tasked to help them create a new multiverse after the whole Secret Wars thing. Once she kills him, though, once she kills Molecule Man's physical form, he's gone, really, for the moment, and that energy he formerly had is gone too, and it returns to the realm of the Beyonders, where they reconstitute themselves. Does that make sense? Okay. He was able to hold off the destruction of the entirety of creation for 16 minutes and 4 seconds. Majorly impressive. But, Mand was not very helpful during the whole, anti-all thing, all of that sort of stuff. Mostly because I think it's a matter of, like, power-wise. Some of these new characters are significantly more powerful now. Anyways, for instance, Null. So, Norn's Rad was basically fighting against this Null. Null, at this time, well, he wasn't as powerful necessarily. So, like, it's been billions of years, so the rematch is different, of course. But billions of years ago, Surfer and Null sort of beefed. And I'm not even gonna hold you. Silver Surfer has no possible way to beat or contest with Null unless he has a type of power amp that he did with someone like Griever. Furthermore, there's the fact that Null was beat by the Enigma Force. The same Enigma Force that the Beyonders were hoping to use to help contain the threat that was from beyond. We don't know what specifically the threat is, just they were hoping to use the Enigma Force to contain it. And concordance engines are being placed and created. Their Enigma Force may help contain the threat. So basically, this is multiple people with the Enigma Force, i.e. Captain Universe power, i.e. multiple Venom, God of Light Venom tier beings. Okay? So, take that as you will. So, I'd say off the bat, someone like Null ought to be getting, pretty far in DC cosmology-wise. He should be the first and oldest of Oblivion's servants, even older than Chaos King, maybe. Stronger than Chaos King. The same Chaos King who was literally said to be the opposite of Multi-Eternity. And Null also came from the darkness from after the 6th cosmos, but before the 7th cosmos. You can argue that this is a separate darkness from the Black Winter, or that it is the Black Winter. Either way, it's still Multi-Eternity level scaling, because he was able to make the Necro Sword, as well as manipulate the darkness. Is referred to as the god of symbiotes and the King in Black. So, yeah, I'd say that Null probably gets to somewhere like, Multi-Eternity is pretty big. Like, I'm gonna play it safe and saying no probably gets stopped at somewhere like power-wise, I'd say that someone like Darkseid, current Darkseid, and No ought to be contestants, you know. But cosmology-wise for DC, someone like No ought to be getting somewhere into heaven and hell. Maybe the Dreamlands. It's because Eternity literally dreams too, but yeah, I'd say that No somewhere, probably somewhere in the God sphere, heaven and hell. Play it safe. However, the anti-all, I think, scales to literally all of DC. Here's why. So, the anti-all was threatening the third cosmos, the same third cosmos, which did not have concepts like science or magic. Magic is a concept in DC. Magic is something in DC connected to the collective unconsciousness and collected to belief. And the magic comes from the God sphere, came from Hecate, right? I'm not going to say that it's limited to the God sphere, but mind you, the Upside Down Man represents all of the dark possibilities. He corrupted the other place, or the space where he was banished to, which encapsulates the dark multiverse. A single dark multiverse reality happens to go up to the source wall, cosmology-wise, which is basically the whole DC light multiverse. Meaning, the dark multiverse, and it's literally shown that the dark multiverse is the black under the DC map. And there's also the fact that when Mandrake fell, he fell off the Overvoid. He fell into the dark multiverse, which is beyond and beneath the Overvoid in all of creation. Meaning the dark multiverse is pretty solidly as big as all of creation, as in Overvoid. And then there's the fact that the Upside Down Man's realm, bare minimum, is equal in size to that. We know it's larger because it literally is set to encapsulate that realm. But yeah, Upside Down Man is made of magic and possibility 2, or pure possibility / horror. You can argue that he's separate from magic and he manipulates magic, but he's literally said to be magic itself, and Zatanna basically beat him through a battle of wills because magic technically has no will. So yeah, I'd say that Upside Down Man is Upside Down Man tier. I'd say the one below all is above that. Especially the anti-all, which is a weaker aspect of the one below all, because the true one below all survived and has never been implied to be damaged or broken, unlike the anti-all. Which brings me to the conclusion. Actually, that does not bring me to the conclusion. I guess this is sort of the wrap-up, basically. The nexus of all realities in Marvel literally goes into places that like the realm of the fallen stars, divine creator stuff, which is basically beyond the one below all and beyond dreaming, or beyond the illusion, right? Which all Marvel creation is the illusion. I think that scales above the DC creation stuff, if I'm being totally honest, because the nexus of realities also is shown to connect to this Spawn and Sonic multiverses. Transformers has crossed over with Marvel. DC has crossed over with Marvel. And Star Trek has crossed over with both of them. I know the nexus of realities isn't mentioned for all of those continuities, but suffice to say, crossverse scaling plus the fact that the nexus of realities is shown to be connected to other multiverses continuities, plus the fact that said continuities, or super continuities I should say, are connected to plus the fact that these like continuities and multiverses and whatnot and the omniverse concept, in which they say the omniverse literally includes all works like Archieverse and DC and even the real world. I'd have to say that the Marvel Omniverse, which was all created by the one above all, is bigger than DC. DC, however, I have to say, has a lot more characters who are way more powerful. If I were to make a list, I'd say that for every Marvel character that is at the peak or above DC cosmology, there are 2 to 3 characters who could contest them in AP or in hacks. I know that some people are going to be like, no, DC's bigger. I'm willing to hear you out, and that I definitely am. But I think that it's simple. The Marvel Omniverse technically includes everything. And DC's Omniverse includes Marvel too, because the Overvoid is where all stories exist, right? And then the Nexus of Realities connects all those stories. That sort of ties together, you know? But the ultimate conclusion, which that was sort of a tangent, I'd say that the one below all I'd say someone like the one below all is significantly above Multi-Eternity, who is around the size of the DC multiverse. Arguably larger, arguably a little smaller, but we can say they're rough equivalents, right? And Toba is way beyond that. So I'd say that Toba could successfully wreck, if he wanted to, most, if not all, of the DC cosmology. Minus stuff like maybe, and I do mean maybe because we don't understand where the Great Darkness really is in creation. Well, we actually do. It's out beyond the Overvoid tech. But, yeah, let me put it this way. The Overvoid is basically in the Great Darkness, right? But underneath the Overvoid, there's multiple layers separating it, like the Dark Multiverse and the other kind, or the other place, or Upside Down Man's prison, like the other space, other place, and then there's the true body of the Great Darkness, then there's just the Great Darkness itself, right? So that's like 3 layers separating it. I'd say that the one below all, well, since he's like the literal opposite of the one above all, who basically made everything that the Overvoid should encompass or contain, I'd say something along the lines of the one below all could destroy everything up to maybe the Overvoid. The Dark Multiverse would follow because it's made off the dreams and hopes and whatnot of the Light Multiverse, right? And then beings like the Upside Down Man have less raw power than the one below all. So really, I'd say that the only real contenders for the one below all, power-wise and cosmology-wise, are the Great Darkness and possibly the Great Light, which I'm not exactly sure is equivalent to the Presence. I'll explain that why later in another video. But the Great Light, or the True Presence if you want to call it that, and then the Great Darkness are the only possible contenders. But even then, I'd say those are maybes. But yeah, the one below all basically solos all of DC. The only character I think could possibly beat the one below all that isn't the Great Light or the Great Darkness is probably someone along the lines of Pariah or Lucifer Morningstar, and maybe one other character, but I won't say who that is. Suffice to say, have a great day. I know some people are going to be mad about the whole, oh, one's bigger than the other sort of thing, but it's sort of concessions, right? They equal each other out, okay?